Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Laura Zentmeyer. I am a Platinum Executive of ASEA, which is a biotech and research company. I'm also certified as a regenerative health practitioner. Today we're going to be talking about allergies. We're going to talk about what allergies are. We're going to talk about how they impact the lives of people who have them. And the best part is we're going to talk about how to deal with the allergies, maybe even how to get rid of them. So let's begin. Did you know that over 50 million people in the United States have an allergic reaction every year? Did you know that allergies are the sixth leading cause of long-term illness in the United States? So what are allergies? Well, your immune system is designed to detect foreign invaders like a virus or bacteria and then get rid of them. And sometimes the immune system just gets a little bit confused, and it all boils down to cellular communication or the lack thereof. Now, cells communicate with each other by exchanging electrons, but for simplicity's sake, let's think of them exchanging information with words that are made up of letters. The word friend looks a lot like the word fiend. If a signal is just not clear enough, it's not loud enough, mistakes happen. And so when the body is exposed to an allergen, which is a substance that is really harmless, but your body perceives it as a threat, the body will create antibodies. Antibodies are proteins that are designed to recognize the threat and annihilate it. And for allergies, the body will create immunoglobulin E. That's the particular kind of antibody that it'll do for allergies. And what it will do is have it bind to mast cells. Mast cells are part of the immune system. They're great at fighting infections. They help regulate organs. But for allergies, the immunoglobulin E will attach to the mast cell. And I've got this nifty little diagram. So the IgE, that's the immunoglobulin E, it gets attached to the mast cell the first time it's exposed to an allergen and thinks, so we got a potential problem here. The next time it comes in contact with that allergen, it's going to capture that allergen and it's stuck to the mast cell. This is going to trigger a reaction with the mast cell. The mast cell is going to release chemicals, including histamine. Histamine is what causes swelling. It's what causes red eyes, itchy eyes, runny nose, coughing. The mast cells, they're found on your skin, they're found in your lungs, and they're found in your gut. So that's where you're going to have the reactions. If the mast cells that are in your gut are impacted, hello, diarrhea and vomiting, it's just not a good thing. And now I'm going to spend a moment talking about my experience with allergies. So for me, it all started when I was in fifth grade. I was really healthy until that year. But then my mom would say that the fifth grade teacher, she played a role in me developing allergies. We think. I was blessed to have a phenomenal educational experience growing up, except for that one year. That teacher, she just did not belong in a classroom. She did not belong with children, and she caused a lot of emotional stress for me. That led to oxidative stress, no doubt, and no doubt that affected my resiliency. And then it just so happened that it was the year of the trees. So the tree pollen was worse than it had ever been in the past 40 years. And allergists will say if you are ever overexposed to something, you'll become allergic to it. Maybe. And so I was bombarded with tree pollen, became allergic to it. And then there was like this cascading effect. I just became allergic to everything. Dust, ragweed, cats. That dashed my dreams of being a veterinarian. So many things. If you do the little test with the allergist, everything lit up. I was just allergic to everything, seemingly. And so I was doing immunotherapy. I would get shots twice a week. There were a lot of pills. The pills, did not like the pills. I had, in the kitchen, there was a section of the counter designated for Laura's allergy medication and a chart of like every hour which ones I would be taking. Did you know that every medication that's approved by the FDA is toxic to a degree. Let me show you something. So there's something called an LD50. So LD50, median lethal dose, is an old toxicology testing method that evaluates how lethal a compound is. They say here it's an old toxicology testing method. It's March of 2025 as I'm making this video. FDA is still using it, so they take animals and they give the animals little microdoses of whatever they're testing it. They keep increasing those amounts, and they want to determine when does 50% of that population die. Everything that is approved by the FDA has an LD50. Everything that is approved by the FDA is toxic to a degree. And mind you, like, I have complete respect for the medical community and medication and the emergency room. My life has been saved numerous occasions by the heroes in the emergency room. But if you have a chronic situation, you might want to try some other things and get to the root cause of the problem. So, how can you do that? Well, you can improve your resiliency by exercising, by having enough sleep, by getting good nutrition, by hydrating, by stimulating your lymphatic system. So think about, in your body, you've got two main fluids. You have the blood and you have the lymph. And the blood is like the kitchen for your body. The blood feeds your organs and your tissues, brings the nutrients and the oxygen to them. And the lymphatic system, that's like the bathroom, gets rid of all the waste. And you want this to be very fluid in your body. You don't want it to be stagnant. You want it to be like a river. You don't want it to be like a swamp. And so what can improve your lymphatic system and get it moving better? Well, exercise. If you think of like a little baby who might be fussy, you tend to jiggle it. Well, you're stimulating the lymphatic system, and that's why the baby feels relief when you do that. What else? This is my dad's brush. He had very, very short hair, and so he would just use this to make his hair look nice. I use it for dry brushing. So dry brushing can help with your lymphatic system, and you just brush yourself, and you brush towards the core. So you brush your arms, brush down, your legs, brush up. Great for your lymphatic system. You can take cold showers. You can have a sauna. So many different things that are good for your lymphatic system. Mostly like eat really good food. And what else? Sunshine, morning sunshine, so good for you. So there's a lot of things that you can do to help with your resiliency. And anyway, back in 5th grade, I actually had the time of my life. And here's why. Because the teacher didn't like it when I would cough. She said I was a distraction. She wanted me out of there. I didn't go to 5th grade. It was wonderful. Every week my mom would go and she'd pick up this pile of projects and things for me to do, and I would get them done in a couple of hours and then just play for the rest of the week. And I even liked going to the allergist and getting shots, because you go, you sit in the waiting room, you get your shots, and then you sit in the waiting room some more, make sure you don't have an anaphylactic reaction. And that was my time to play with my mom. She just made it really fun for me. So anyway, there's that as an allergic, experience. And then fast forward to, I think it was 9th grade, I was in the New Jersey Youth Symphony. I played the double bass, and we were raising money to go to Europe to compete in an international festival in Neerpelt, Belgium. Took first place. And I got to play for the King and Queen of Belgium. Anyway, we were selling chocolate bars, and I was a very good customer. And I got really, really sick, and I was still going to the allergist to get my shots for the pollen and whatnot. And he asked me if I was losing weight. My mom said, no, she has a chocolate bar every day. He said, stop doing that. And so I did. And then the next time I saw him, I said, I am so much worse, so you must be wrong. And he's like, bingo, I'm right. You're going through withdrawal symptoms. So I got through that. And then I thought, oh, this is crazy. I want some chocolate. And I started to have a little nibble of a chocolate chip, had an anaphylactic reaction. Learned my lesson, wasn't going to have any more chocolate. But this really impacted my life, my family's life, the community. So, I got married, I had children. They couldn't have chocolate in the house. We would go trick-or-treating. We would take two different cars, the chocolate car and the non-chocolate car for me. And then if they had chocolate, they would have to eat it in the garage. The community, the place where I get my hair cut, there was a big sign that said, if Laura Zentmeyer is in the building, no chocolate allowed. Because one time I almost became unconscious because some nice person brought in some treats. I don't really remember the experience, but everybody there does. And then also I was the PTA president of the kids' school. And one time I walked in, my throat closed up. And somebody somewhere was having a cookie. And the principal said, well, that's it. There's a ban on chocolate. No more chocolate in the school. It's entirely my fault that 300 children in Grantham, New Hampshire could not have chocolate between the hours of 9 and 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. I'm so sorry. And anyway, that was my reality. And it just impacted me in so many ways. I couldn't attend events. I couldn't go to my kids' award ceremonies because there would always be a bake sale. And anyway, that's just how I existed. Kind of lived a little bit in fear and being hyper vigilant. And then I got introduced to this from a wonderful, wonderful doctor who didn't know that much about it at the time. And he's like, hey, I got this stuff. It's about to expire. I don't like how it tastes. I don't know if it even works, but it's supposed to make your cells work better. Maybe you want to try it. I had a lot of health issues going on, and I wasn't even thinking about my allergies, but I just wanted to be a better mom. I wanted to play with my kids. I wanted to be present for them. And so I tried it, and sure enough, I was feeling better. And a few weeks after taking this product, I was at the veterinarian's clinic, and I'm friends with the veterinarian, and she pulled me into the back where she does the surgery, and she's got a lot of animals boarding there, and she's like, I gotta show you the cutest thing, and she puts this brand new baby kitten in front of my face, and I'm thinking simultaneously, I'm like, oh, this is so cute, but also, I'm gonna be sneezing for the next 3 days, but I was okay. And I asked her, is this some sort of magical cat? Is this a hypoallergenic little creature? She's like, no, that's a regular cat. And I said, I want to smell all the cats here. I want to do a sniff test. And so I did. I went around and I played with all of the cats in the clinic. I was fine. I'm not allergic to cats anymore. And but the really wonderful thing happened. It was 4 weeks after I started this product, and I was in Walmart. It was Easter time. I knew I always had to stay away from the chocolate section. You could kind of smell the candy, the chocolate through the wrappers. I have to stay maybe 3 aisles away from them. But Walmart tricked me, and they had these chocolate Easter bunnies out and about in the different aisles, and all of a sudden I'm face to face with this stack of chocolate bunnies. And I just was confused. I was startled to see them. And then I'm like, but I don't have hives. My tongue is not fat. I am breathing. I'm okay. And I just stood there trying to process this. I leaned over and I smelled the rabbits and I said, okay. And so I actually bought chocolate that day and I brought it home and I had some with my family. And what fun we had. And we would go out to restaurants and I'd be like, get every single dessert on the menu. Let's have all 7 chocolate desserts. And we all got a little bit fat, but it was wonderful. So I didn't need to live in fear anymore. No more limits for me. And then, just so many good things happened. But let me just tell you what this is. So it's a cell signaling supplement. And I remember when I was talking about how friend looks like the word fiend. It's just, the difference of the letter R. This cleared up the cellular communication in my body. My body was able to process like, oh, this thing over here really is not a threat. So how does it do it? Well, it enables cellular communication. And it's going to amplify that, it's going to clarify that, it's going to boost some really important antioxidants. So glutathione goes way, way up. Superoxide dismutase, catalase. It just means you don't have to be a germaphobe. Your immune system is really fortified. Turns on genes also for your cardiac system, your immune system, your inflammatory system, your digestive system, and your hormone modulation. It just empowers your cells to work better, heal faster. Every single health challenge involves cells. This makes the cells work better. I love it. This is like my best friend. It's made a difference for me in so many different ways. But I have no more allergies, and we've got 3 cats now. So I hope that you enjoyed that little presentation about allergies and redox signaling molecules. Let me tell you one more thing. I don't think that people should have allergies. I just don't. And we can't say that this is a cure or treatment for anything, but my experience is that people who use this don't have allergies. There was one woman in Idaho who reached out to me and she's like, I'm still having to blow my nose over here. And I'm like, I don't understand why. How much are you drinking? And she said 4 ounces. Well, okay, it does say that the recommended dose every day is 4 ounces. It's not because we recommend it. It's because we are in so many different countries throughout the world, and we needed all of the regulatory committees to agree on a number. They chose 4. And but more works better than less. As you age, you're making less and less and less of this. This is a bioreplenishment. Your mitochondria are making it every moment of the day. Once you get into your 20s, every decade that you age, you're making about 10% less. If you are 70 years old, you are so depleted of your redox signaling molecules. And I should maybe explain, so what this does is it stabilizes, it puts the reductants and the oxidants in your body in an equilibrium, in homeostasis. And there's a great book. It's called One Disease, Redox Imbalance. The premise is that every single health challenge, the source of that problem is because there's an imbalance in your reductants and your oxidants. This gets it more in balance. And that's how we get the word redox. It's a contraction for reductants and oxidants. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, I think I'm done. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope this helps. Wait, there's more. Okay, how should you use it? Well, you should drink it. This heals you from the inside out on a systemic level. But we have a gel too. This is the topical version. It's more concentrated. It's more than twice as concentrated as this. And so this, put it in your nose if you have allergies. Rub it wherever you have discomfort. It's really going to help. Everything involves cells, right? And then you can also, for allergies, put this in a neti pot, put it in a nebulizer, get it directly to your lungs. If the lungs are the issue, you could rub this on your lungs, on your front and your back where your lungs are. Okay, now I think I'm done talking about this. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope it helps you. I believe allergies are honestly a choice, given that this technology exists. To your health. And now shifting gears. If you've ever found anything that I've said about redox signaling molecules to be helpful, to be informative, to be inspiring, to have helped you solve a problem, well, you have Mr. Jerry White to thank for that, because he was my mentor. He was a best friend. Jerry died March 3rd, 2025. And this episode of Latest with Laura is dedicated to my good friend Jerry. I love this man so much. If I could create a recipe for a perfect human being, he would have every ingredient. He just seemed to know everything. He could always connect the dots. Anytime somebody was baffled about a particular health challenge, and honestly, who cares really, because every health challenge involves cells. The redox signaling molecules empower your cells to work better. But I was curious, Jerry was curious. He could always connect the dots. He could always shed light on a fascinating health challenge and make everything make sense. He was very accomplished. He was a physical therapist. He was retired founder and head researcher for the Human Performance Gait Analysis Lab at the Shriners Hospital. He was an adjunct professor, biomechanics, physiology. He seemed to coach everything. He coached football and swimming and hockey and get this, ballet. A lot of Olympic champions and Ironman champions have Jerry to thank for leading them to victory. But he is just so much more than this amazing teacher. But he sure did teach me a lot. He would say, "Okay, we're gonna have a Yoda moment," and he would stretch out his ears like Yoda, and I would be the young Jedi, and he would just impart all this amazing wisdom. But what I loved about him was he's just my friend, and he would answer the phone for me on the first ring pretty much any time he called. He said even if he got 75 phone calls a day, he'd always pick up for 3 people on the first ring. Marcia, his amazing wife, Terry Latham, great guy in our company, and me. And I've got this quote floating around in my head. It's W.H. Auden famously said, "Among those whom I like or admire, I can find no common denominator. But among those whom I love, I can. All of them make me laugh." Jerry made me laugh so much. We'd get on the phone. A lot of times we would both be multitasking. We'd both go outside and be tending to our pet chickens. The chickens would start talking to each other. But if I could just really focus on everything that Jerry was saying, I would plant myself on the floor. I would sit down on the floor because he would make me laugh so hard that if I were on a chair, I might fall off because he would make me laugh so much. And when we would call each other, we would say that we were like 2 electrons, that we were just a pair. We knew when the other was shifting. And sometimes, I get this feeling. I call him up. I'm like, "Is something going on with you? I'm just feeling it. What's going on?" Sure enough, there would be a reason. And when we would talk, it was kind of a game. We would just pick up right where we had left off, sometimes like mid-sentence from the last conversation. Other times I would be polite enough to say, "Hi, Jerry, how are you?" And he would say, "Well, let me take a look." And there would be a significant pause. And then he'd say, "The most amount of awesome." That was his standard reply. Every now and then he'd sprinkle in a colorful comment like, "I'm slicker than a hot buttered doorknob." Anytime he had a really funny expression like that, it's from his grandfather. And he was just paying tribute to him. So now he is with his grandfather, and the two of them, I'm sure, are having a hootenanny, as Jerry would say. Here's some more pictures. Here we are, having a hootenanny on a boat ride in Nashville, Tennessee. That beautiful woman next to me is Dr. Maureen Hayes, founding member of our medical board. Here we are in Puerto Rico. This picture makes me think of something super kind that Jerry did. When my father died, he grieved with me. He felt what I was feeling. And he said, "Well, I guess I just need to take over for your dad now. I need to be your dad." And I said, No, nobody can replace my daddy, but you can be my pops." And he said he would be honored to. So there's my pops. And anyway, like I said, if I'm ever helpful in the realm of redox signaling molecules with you, you have Mr. Jerry White to thank for teaching me. And if you ever see me end a Zoom like this, I'm paying tribute to the guy, because this is how we would sign off. Live long and prosper, and to infinity and beyond. I love you, Pops.